Blizzard is hiring more people for Diablo Immortal. Now, if you're a Diablo Immortal fan, this might actually be good news for you, as there was a lot of speculation that when D4 comes out, Immortal's going to get the axe or be on the back burner and not going to have as much attention paid to it. And we saw a whole bunch of new, I think it was like 16 new job postings for Diablo 4. Seemed like they were really focusing on that. However, Blizzard has stated that Diablo Immortal and D4 are going to be separate and will both be published independently, and it looks like we have some evidence to support that by looking at this here today. On their own webpage, the careers.blizzard.com, you can see there is more job titles, a whole bunch of them. We're going to go through some of the more important ones today for Diablo Immortal. They are currently hiring for the North America team. Now, this would be the Senior Product Manager. Right off the bat, it's interesting. Drive commercial success and player engagement by forming hypotheses, setting KPI targets, which are key performance indicators, if you know what that means, analyzing product performance, and iterating the feature design. Now, KPIs are typically key performance indicators, meaning these are the things that are the most important. Typically would be like customer acquisition, for instance, how many new people are coming, or how long are they staying, audience retention. So if your lifeblood of your game is new players and how long they stay, then your KPIs would be, okay, how many people are joining and how long are they staying, just as one example. However, it could be different for different games. For all we know, Diablo Immortal's KPI could be out of how many 100,000 players do we get one person willing to spend $10,000, for instance. That could be their KPI. That is what they're looking for. Somebody who is able to form these hypotheses on what their KPIs are, set those targets, analyze the product, and deliver. These last three lines here will basically consolidate this point and reiterate what I'm saying. But if one more interesting points here is it says, work with game team and commercial leadership to lead and iterate upon the game business strategy to build a cohesive product roadmap. So very often a product roadmap is going to be different than the roadmap we as players experience, whereas maybe what we want to see is the content coming to the game, like which classes are coming, which story points. That would be a content roadmap. So they're not necessarily hiring someone to produce a content roadmap as much as a business roadmap to effectively what is going to perform the best for their KPIs. Now, the live ops, the senior live ops producer is going to be one that we as the players are going to be more interested in, because effectively the live ops group to coordinate with design, art, engineering, sound, community, publishing to pull off ambitious patch schedule. If you're passionate about running games as a live service, we'd love to hear from you. But if you look at their responsibilities, basically their responsibilities are going to be point of contact for the community responses, executing compensation to players. This is one that, in my opinion, has been lackluster. I think compensation could definitely be improved, so I'm glad to see this one. Triage and resolve submission blockers. By submission blockers, I think what they're referring to is effectively, we're trying to get this content into the game. We're having problems getting it into the live version of the game. What is blocking us from getting that? Please resolve and triage that such issue. So this one is essentially to help them produce and run and get things into the live operation of the game, i.e. for us, the consumer, deliver the content we expect to see. It also goes into a little bit more detail that they want to hire somebody else that's going to be even more important for the community. That would be the associate manager. This person actually collaborates with Battle.net, customer support, publishing, product production, QA teams to resolve player-facing live op issues. So this is going to be some of the more major points, okay? This is going to be the issues of, like, we have lots of bugs that have left to be fixed. This is the feedback, the call and response part of Blizzard for Diablo Immortal. So they are hiring somebody directly to sit there and listen to what people are saying, figure out and solve those problems, namely, hopefully, the bugs. We still have bugs in the game that have been there like 6 months. This next one here is one I think that could critically be the most important from a business standpoint. That's going to be their senior brand manager. Effectively, if you go down and read the description of what they're going to do, I'm just going to give you some of the responsibilities. Manage the Diablo brand globally, protecting, evolving, adapting what and how we communicate. Build authentic, long-lasting relationships with our player base. This is the hardest job out of all of the ones that I've seen listed, at least from what my understanding of this is. This is effectively, they're having somebody whose entire job is, hey, Diablo Immortal is the worst branded mobile game of the century. Can you please come out there and fix this problem, regain the trust of the player base and the globe? However, it's a crucially important job because if you look further at the responsibilities, work closely with product management and live ops partners to inform business decisions, bring new business opportunities to market. Effectively, this is the guy that figures out where they're at with the brand and how that is going to influence what the business decisions are going to be. Make no mistake, where they're at with the brand is very bad. Diablo Immortal has a horrible brand associated with it, regardless of how the gameplay is. I know there's lots of people that think the gameplay is good casual. I'm in that point of view. There's also people that think that it's too pay to win. I am also in that point of view. I can understand these types of, how to put it, these types of aromas given off by Diablo Immortal that this brand manager is going to have to influence. So it is quite important for him to realize how stale the current PR system is in order to be able to improve it. So I actually think this is one of the more critical points out of all of them. They also have some more technical jobs they're hiring for, like sound designer, software engineer, etc., just showing that they're further developing the technical power behind the actual game itself. So a couple things with this video is Diablo Immortal is still not going anywhere. You can see they're hiring more people to develop it. Hopefully, when we get some new blood into the game, it's actually going to stir things up a little bit. I think a lot of us would like to see some new hiring. Also think it's interesting that fluency in Mandarin Chinese is listed as a plus, and with some of the language they've chose to use during communications, I think that goes to show that the majority of development is probably done over by NetEase itself. So it's interesting to see that what we're really seeing hired is less of like the software engineering developer side. I think most of the dev work's probably done over there by China, but more of the decision, marketing, branding type of stuff is getting hired more on the West. Also, this Barbarian build was one of the most fun I've ever done. If you haven't seen this video yet, highly recommend going and watching this one. It's a great meme and it's a fairly short watch, so I'll put a link to it at the end. Okay, love you all. See you guys on that video. Have a good one.